Our next guest here on the sidelines of the Noosa Mining and Exploration Conference is Richard Cottee. He's the CEO and Managing Director of Central Petroleum, listed on the ASX CTP. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So you are an oil and natural gas producer here in Australia.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your project, your company.
Well, we basically have a large exploration acreage in Northern Territory and a small footprint in Queensland. Basically in 2013 I saw oil price dropping and foresaw the major gas shortage that was coming about in the eastern seaboard because of my position as the MD of QGC in its building stage. And I was positive that there was 2 trains too many having been built, when the train is about the size of New South Wales. And so it sort of appeared to me that the fields that we acquired at that time in the Northern Territory, Mereenie and Palm Valley, had been cut short because of no markets. And primarily Northern Territory has less of a population than the ACT, and despite Capitol Hill and all the hot air coming out of Capitol Hill, there is less home heating in Darwin than the ACT. So there was absolutely no market for the gas, and it just required the Northern Territory to be connected into the eastern seaboard. And that's so we were able to be a catalyst for that. The Northern Gas Pipeline is being commissioned at the end of this year. We're able to actually have it built without us underwriting it, with 2/3 of its capacity reserved for ourselves.
And you have some big targets for 2018.
Well, basically we're going to be tripling our sales from December.
What's the game plan to get there?
Well, we're already spending the money on upgrading the Mereenie and Palm Valley existing reserves. So we've got the existing reserves, we've got the existing infrastructure. We now, basically because these fields will commenced production in 1984, an old man can't do what a young man used to do. They needed a bit of artificial help, and so we just need to get a bit more compression.
So you know, energy has been, you know, in this commodity space, probably the most exciting thing in 2018. You know, compared especially to the precious metals here. Do you think that trend will continue into 2019?
Absolutely. I think what's happened is that the political discourse has been hijacked, and there's a disconnect between the political discourse and the market reality. If you take coal, for example, coal has got no future, but it's running, thermal coal is running at a record high. So the market's sort of seeing a different dynamic than what you're hearing on your TV screen. Now, if you take natural gas, over 50% of natural gas is used in industry. And when I say used in industry, I'm talking about industries that have 15% or more of their input costs being natural gas. Electricity is not the issue. They employ 1 million people. If you don't have natural gas, you don't have those jobs.
Well, okay. Well, what about this talk of, you know, 2019? Some analysts are calling that a recession will hit and obviously affect the energy sector. You know, what do you make of that?
Well, the one thing that's interesting about recessions is it doesn't actually change a lot of your energy consumption.
You still need it.
You still need it. Are you going to cease having a refrigerator in a recession? Are you going to cease having air conditioning when it's a hot day? It's in that quasi non-discretionary expenditure stage. Now, at the end of the day, India and China want to clean up their air. They still are growing at phenomenal pace. A recession may be a blip, but it won't actually be. It will impact oil more than it will gas.
Who are your biggest consumers?
Our biggest consumer, we've just signed a contract for Incitec Pivot, a fertiliser plant at the mouth of the Brisbane River, as a bridge over troubled waters, because we've also got acreage in Queensland with a free carry with Incitec to try and get them equity gas so that you can preserve the fertiliser plant, 2,000 jobs. But essentially, fertiliser is about food. It's not about electricity. You can't create fertiliser out of electricity. That is the prime point that is missing from our political dialogue.
Richard, best of luck.
Thank you.
Continued success, ASX, CTP. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching. We'll have much more for you on Kitco.com. Thanks, Richard.